friends, best greetings of the time to all of you. I am Mr. Shashikant Buvasaheb Gosavi from Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. I work in the Civil Engineering Department and deal with the course of Surveying and Geomatics. In the week 1, I have dealt with the discussions about awareness of environmental impact and carbon footprint generation while using the surveying instruments and creation of maps. In week 2, I have discussed about the standards applicable to instruments and softwares used in surveying and geomatics. The significance of process of mapping with the help of these instruments is also discussed in relevance to environment and sustainability aspects. The learning outcomes of this video are: after learning through video, students will compare the environment and sustainability advantages of modern surveying instruments over conventional surveying instruments. The student will analyze the surveying method of profile leveling as a case study of carbon emission calculation of use of modern surveying methods against conventional instruments. The student will evaluate the sustainability of total station survey, and student will apply GPS and GIS for environmental impact assessment. Here are the glimpses of the standards that I have presented. The first one is IEC 60721 1987. It gives relevance to the International Electrotechnical Commission classification of environmental conditions. It also deals with classification of groups of environmental parameters and their severities, particularly in ship environment. ISO 17025 technical requirements and calibration. ISO 17123 precision of coordinate measurement of total station. ISO 17123 part 6 deals with accuracy of rotating lasers, tolerancing and metrology practices. ISO 5459 2013 deals with datums. IEC 60945 deals with maritime navigation and radio communication equipment. Similarly, IEC 61162 deals with general requirements, methods of testing, and more importantly, ISO TC 211, which is a technical committee. It deals with geographic information and geometric standards. Here is a comparison of environment and sustainability of total station with auto level. The conventional instruments such as dumpy level, auto level, theodolite, and chain or tape are known to us to be very labor intensive, slow in performance, error prone. No digital data is possible. Fieldbook is required to be maintained for that, and it gives a local view. There is no question about recycling in those days. The modern surveying instruments such as total station, global positioning system, drone, and geographic information system have brought a big transformation because they are machine intensive, very fast, they have less error. Digital data is available, which is possible to be shifted easily from one device to other device. Electronic digital data is available with a synoptic view, and overall the recycling of many parts of this instrument is available with the supplying company. The comparison of environment and sustainability of total station with auto level has been done by me by calculating the carbon emission per year. The conventional instruments used for route survey have requirement of one auto level operator, theodolite operator, ranging party will be needed, chaining party will be needed, offsetting party will be needed. Moreover, we have to ask some of the labor to hold the leveling staff and ranging rods. In addition to that, at least one team in charge will be needed. It needs around 10 to 15 number of personnel. For my case today, I have assumed that one team in charge will be there and 10 assistants are going to be there. The noting of the data is done in Fieldbook, which is post-processed in Office for computation and drawing. While by using the modern surveying instruments, when we calculate the carbon emission, I have considered total station with a refractor. Only one operator will be sufficient for operating the total station, and two more assistants are taken, one for holding the refractor and the other one to assist them in case of any emergencies. The digital data is available and mapping softwares result in reduction of utilization of many valuable resources that are needed. These are the calculations of the first case with the conventional instruments. I assumed that a consumption of petrol of 30 liters per month will be required for the in charge to move onto the site. So for the whole month, against the consumption of 30 liters, she will be making an emission of 69.81 kg of carbon dioxide. The diesel requirement will be there for the movement of the surveyors or assistants, which are assumed to be 10 in number. However, the figure 4 is representing the 4 liters consumption per month for a single surveyor. So for him, the carbon emission will be 10.73 kg per month. There will be consumption of the electricity for the camping arrangement onto the site plus processing of the data. I have assumed a 30 kWh utilization of the electricity, and the carbon emission against that for one surveyor will be 27 kg per month. In addition to that, I have assumed that there will be a need for the snacks or for the food, and for that 2 cylinders are assumed to be consumed, and per surveyor the consumption will be 0.2 kg per month, and therefore per surveyor per month the emission will be 8.5 kg of the carbon dioxide. Remember, here these particular things are assumed by me: 2 number of cylinders, 300 kWh electricity consumption, 1200 km running for both of them, and these are the team figures. Total carbon emission can be calculated by knowing that 69.81 will be the consumption per month, and therefore if we will multiply by 12, it gives us 837 kg. 10.73 multiplied by 10, don't forget this is only for one of them, so multiplied by 10 multiplied by 12 for the year gives me 1287. This way I have done the calculation, and finally we get a figure of 6385.32 kg of the carbon emission. This is a case of conventional auto level and leveling staff with a team of 11 persons. Now see the magic. This is a case of total station survey. So it is not a labor intensive. We need only 3 persons, 1 operator, 1 or 2 persons for holding the refractors. That's all. So the consumption has been assumed to be again 30 liters by the in charge. But in this particular case, camping may not be needed, and therefore along with in charge another 2 assistants may be using their vehicle, and therefore petrol consumption of all those 3 has to be assumed. However, for one of them it is assumed that 30 liters will be required per month, and against 30 liters there will be an emission of 69.81 kg. In a similar way, electricity consumption has dropped down because camping is not there, only a post-processing need will be there, and maybe operator will be consuming certain amount of the electricity. So 100 kWh per month will be assumed requirement, and therefore 90 kg of the carbon will be emitted because of that application. Now here if we will see the calculation, 69.81 per person multiplied by 3 multiplied by 12 months gives me annual consumption of 2513.16 kg. In a similar way, for the electricity consumption, it is 90 kg multiplied by 12 months giving me 1080 kg. In totality, it gives me 3593.16 kg of the carbon emission. It's very important to understand the sustainability computations or standards for the total station. The instrument total station is sustainable for 11 months without any maintenance for routine operation of 8 hours a day. Thereafter, it requires a calibration as per ISO 17025. Besides, to dispose of the instrument, battery, charger and vehicular battery connector, the suppliers have recycle policies in place. Audience, the application of the GPS and GIS for environmental impact assessment are enormous. It has a very vast scope. With the advent of remote sensing and global positioning system, it's possible to have precise measurement of many natural events such as pandemic, which we are facing right now, storms, floods, global warming, a rise in sea level, and so many other variety of natural phenomena. A blend of GIS software and navigational GNSS is possible to have real-time information about traffic density, alternate path, and time of travel. Automated vehicles are round the corner. So it has brought a transformation into the way we look to these particular activities. The satellite imageries and geographic information systems are new decision-making tools of next decade of environmental impact assessment.